Hey guys, it's Jaky here. Today on that Discord talk show, I'm interviewing the creator of Gravity Falls Deep Woods, MysterySeeker. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. A little sick at the moment, so if my voice sounds a little hoarse or weird or whatever, then that's the reason for that.
Oh no, it's fine. I've been sick a lot recently, so I've sound way worse than this.
Well, that's a relief. But yeah, happy
Um,
that it's working out with the talk.
yeah. I'm just gonna start off with some basics. Because it'd been a while since I've heard answers to some of these, and I just want to hear them from you. Um,
Sure.
when did you start YouTube, and like why?
YouTube, I started pretty much all the way back in 2011. I think that wasn't the first time I got in contact with YouTube. I think I've been watching YouTube videos since I was like 9, which would have been in 2009. But back then was kind of the thing about just doing some Lego videos with a friend of mine, and we kind of had like a competition who could get more subscribers in the time that we started our channels. So those old videos are all on private, and you can't watch them anymore because they're quite bad. But I used to start with like Lego stop motion videos of like Bionicle or Hero Factory figures. Yeah, that was my start with YouTube. Pretty much just inspiration by watching cooler YouTubers do something that seemed quite cinematic, and me thinking, "Oh, hey, I can do that. I want to do that," and then not living up to that.
Um, what got you into like outside of stop motion? What got you to animate like stuff like Gravity Falls Deep Woods?
Well, I guess it was kind of a process along the way because coming up with like creative projects in different shapes and forms, like I wasn't stuck with stop motion for long, but it was a phase that took a while. But
Yeah.
I guess my point is about coming up with like ideas for storylines and whatever that has always sort of followed my creative process, and so the woods. We actually had a section on that in the newest video. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I
Um,
didn't finish it, but I did start it a couple days ago.
all right. Well, yeah, I got into that a little bit, like the backstory about the woods. Basically, it was just I was a huge fan of that show, and being like a kid whose mind always creates like story continuations about stuff I watched. I was like, oh man, I kind of wanna see how this continues, and like how would I approach a storyline that's expanding on the great things that Gravity Falls already did. So that's kind of where I went. And back then it was a Gravity Falls forum, MysterySeeker.com, and we kind of got the idea. All right, let's work together, band together, and see if we can find some fans and just try to do it. And that's how we did it.
Obviously, you've been doing it for a while. Why did you start to slow down making it, and why did it like end?
Well, like I said, we had a section on that in the video, but basically the gist of it is the whole thing about Gravity Falls Deep Woods is that it was a passion project by fans banding together and trying to create something that took a lot of effort, because we had some, I'm not going to say we had like astronomical standards, but we had some, thoughts on how high we wanted the quality to be and how much effort we wanted to put in. So it was a very ambitious project, and I think the second episode we did, Deep Rooted Misunderstanding, is like the peak of the project, because that's where we hit all the main goals we set out for ourselves. But those were pretty high standards that we set for ourselves for a project of this proportion. So eventually it just came to pass that people didn't have as much time anymore to work on it and put in the effort required for it, because it was a lot of effort to
Yeah.
create some high quality fan stuff. And I guess that over the years just naturally fell like in a slowdown process. Not due to any particular reason, just in general, people moving on, starting university, because we had a lot of younger people on our staff. I got more busy with school, for example, and like there wasn't an internal drive to put all our efforts into this project anymore, which is understandable because we're not really getting anything out of it by the standards of if you do your own creative project, you can monetize it and reach a wider audience. But obviously, that isn't possible with a Disney IP, and we didn't want to touch that beast. So yeah, it was kind of just a thing about us not having the resources to continue, but like spanning the whole entire crew. So just naturally kind of slow down. But there wasn't a big decision where we were like, all right, we want to slow down, we want to finish this up. It was just a natural process of how things came together.
Would you ever want to continue it someday if you had like the time?
I really did think about that a lot because Gravity Falls the Woods is a project that's very close to my heart and like something I that continued with me since I was 15, and I've changed a lot since then. But the project was always sort of with me, even though we never finished it completely. And the last year I went back through all the stuff, looking through the folders we still had, all the storyboards that we didn't release, all the unfinished storylines and scripts that we still had lying around, and I tried tidying it up as good as I can, and putting it out there, because I figured, well, in my heart, I would love to keep working on this stuff, like ages and ages, but there's also the other side of me that wants to explore new and original ideas where I can, do my own take on story ideas. And in essence, The Woods is a big fan fiction, and I'm proud of it. I'm super proud of it, and I love it to the deepest corner of my heart. But I think the thing is just that the wish to, do something on my own original thing is bigger than that. So I guess the answer is no. I wouldn't continue Deep Woods if I had the resources.
I don't know if it was in the newest video or if you answered it ever, but what time period does Gravity Falls Deep Woods take place in? I was always a little like confused on where it like fit on the timeline if you were to put it anywhere.
Yeah, we actually have a very specific placement for the first two episodes because those two occur at the same time. Deep Room Misunderstanding was B plot to Quest for the Northwest originally. So at the end, the stories kind of come together at the end of that episode, and so both of these stories take place between the episode. Let me think about the titles. Right after Stan Turing candidate, after the mayoral election. That's why we have like Tyler Cutebaker having an event, his speech, whatever. We see some decorations of that on the Mystery Shack when we arrive there, and right before the episode Last Mabelcorn. That we kind of lead into because our credit sequence in Deep Rooted Misunderstanding is the opening sequence to Last Mabelcorn. Went together with the voice actor for Ford, Charlie Marlowe, and had him re-record his lines to match the vocal performance of J.K. Simmons in that scene because we wanted it to be like very connected to it. And then Tales from Armageddon, there's actually two parts where we have the scripts now released, so those can be checked out as well at the moment. The first part takes place in between scenes of like the entire storyline, of course, because we flash back to different sections of Armageddon events.
Yeah.
But the main storyline takes place right after the Pectron is built, like after that montage, but before the campfire sequence where the characters talk about stuff. And then the second part would have been after that sequence, but before the first morning, when the Shacktron is activated and walks towards Bill to take him down. And then what we would have done is continue Deep Woods in like the summer after that. But obviously, we never produced any episodes in that time frame. But yeah, we had very specific points between episodes that Deep Woods took place in. So we considered how it would fit into canon, and if we did everything right, there should be no contradictions to those episodes.
Any plans? I know you just said this a second ago, but do you have any current plans of releasing any like original like new series that are episodic or just like one shot short films you have planned coming out? Anything like that?
Referring to Gravity Falls stuff?
Oh no, just your own original idea.
Yes, I have a bunch of stuff planned, and original stuff that's currently released. I have a little webcomic that I run over Instagram. It's pixel art. Terry Adventures is what it's called. It's just a side project where the main thing is that after each part is released, there is going to be a poll put up where the viewers can vote on which choice the main character should make. So it's kind of a little interactive, just in a sense that there's some influence by the audience. Aside from that, there's a project I've been developing on the side for a few years, Terraforce Robot Rebels. It's if you're on Discord, you can see my profile pic. It's actually a character of that. Um, which is at the moment developing as a comic. Originally, I had it envisioned as an animated show, and I would like to go back to that at some point. But right now, I have it developing with the indie publisher Odyssey Comics. Process is taking a bit of time, but it's going forward, and I think we might have a Kickstarter out at some point this fall. But that's the most I can say about it at the moment because details are still a little in development. But yeah, that's a big thing that I want to keep pushing, and I have a storyline that has developed over a few years in my mind, and I want to start telling it because I'm very excited about that project.
Going back to Gravity Falls, did it inspire you in any way, like when you were growing up, to get into animation? And like, what episode do you remember that would have like sparked that creativity?
Yeah, that's a really great question because yes, Gravity Falls really did have a ginormous impact on my creative journey. If looking back on it, um, I'm at film school at the moment, so not quite in the animation space right now. But keep wanna wait. Let me rephrase that. I want to keep going back to that because I think it's an awesome medium. And Alex Hirsch was like once I got into the fandom, and you know he's kind of this guy to me who's like, yeah, he did what I would love to do. He young out of film school and got a show and made something great and finished it like entirely in his vision. And I kind of strive for that. So yeah, Gravity Falls definitely inspired me a lot in what I want to do, and like gave me like a lot of ideas on how you can make something really awesome in like a confined space of like Disney restrictions or whatever. In terms of episodes that really sparked my interest, I think back. I think the moment I knew I would love Gravity Falls was in Legend of the Gobblewonker, second episode I know, but I watched it, and at some point I had thought, oh yeah, this is going to be one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show. Um, and then I think Double Dipper is the other one that kind of really opened up the oh my god, this is such a clever show, so many ideas, so many possibilities, and something that can be done with animation. Yeah, I think that cold open of that episode really, did something, and I still love it. I had Tyrone as my profile pic for years because of that.
All right, I'm gonna name off the top 10 most watched episodes of Gravity Falls, and I want you to rank them based on what you remember about them.
Okay. I'm gonna write them down as you're talking, so I can order them for myself.
Northwest Mansion Mystery, and Dream Seekers, Demons, Into Water, Temple Future, We're Going to, We're One, Jaky Series, Naughty Scenes, and We're
I got them all. Okay, so you want me to rank them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess in this exercise we're considering Witmageddon 3 as one episode and not Witmageddon 4, which is the other half of the episode, right? So
Yeah.
Into the Woods isn't. Yeah. Okay, got it. A lot of my favorites in there. Okay, I think I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so my number 10 placement would be Witmageddon 2. That's actually the part of the finale that I'm not really that into because it's a sweet character story. It's by standards of everything that you can expect from a cartoon. It's a really good episode,
Yeah.
and it brings the arcs to conclusion. But at that point, I was kind of hoping to see more of the Witmageddon weirdness, and that kind of fell to the wayside for me. So yeah, that's why I would put it on the bottom spot, I guess. But it's still pretty high, right? It's number 10 from like all the episodes. I think it's the least watched out of the Witmageddon trilogy for me. After that, I would put Dipper and Mabel vs. the Future, which I really enjoyed, but I think the later episodes of Gravity Falls before Wheelmageddon, some of the story elements, they feel a little squashed together for me. So on rewatches, I'm kind of like, all right, I enjoy it, but this was better on the first watching, because you get all the revelations. But
Yeah.
going back to it, it's a little, not to say rushed or anything, but just feels a little hectic at points, I guess. Like lots of character moments happening one after another, which is part of the reason why Tale of Two Stands is my number 8 placement, because that one was super exciting to see in trailers and speculate about,
Oh
and
yeah,
getting
definitely.
all these answers and ideas that you probably haven't even considered before. But going back to it, it's lots of stuff is happening, but it's not really going in depth. And I like my Gravity Falls episodes when they really go deep into the substance of like the of one story idea. Um, Northwest Mansion Mystery would be my number 7 placement. Really enjoyed that one. Great character moments. I kind of got a little one-sided, I guess, if I'm looking for critique, because it just takes place in one location. But all those moments make it really worth it because I guess, all right, yeah, the B plot with Mabel, Grenda, Candy, and the Austrian prince, didn't really care for that one, but episode overall really hits that high note of what Gravity Falls could be, in like a mystery sort of sense. Um, now these following ones were really tough to rank. I think Witmageddon 3 would be my number 6 placement. Super solid episode, not a lot of thoughts. I think it's kind of mixing the feeling of, oh yeah, this is the end of the show I really love. So high expectations meeting a really good episode, but not like a enormous, amazing finale that shatters every expectations. Because I expected most of it, most of where it went, but it did it really well. So yeah, I really enjoy it. Just not my favorite episode. Dreamscaperers, just love the moody aspect of it. That's my number 5 placement. Remember watching it, was like a whole new side to Gravity Falls. Awesome Bill Cipher introduction, amazing. Like there's barely anything to critique about it. Yeah, that's super solid placement. Number 4 would be Whitman Part 1. Super exciting, really delivered on the promise of the apocalypse. Just super fun ideas. Really felt like a lead up to the finale. Did everything right that you could want from where Dip and Mabel vs. the Future leaves off. Gideon Rises, my number 3, just super solid finale, brings everything together from season 1, wraps all the loose ends up, and it delivers on, promises set up by the first episode, and just the character interactions and like their new dynamic they introduce with Mabel having to leave Gravity Falls. Awesome stuff. I think let me think for a second if I wanna. No, actually, I'm gonna switch up the first and second place. Into the Bunker is my second place. That was my highlight of season 2 when the first half was released. It was just everything about the mystery aspect, the exploration, the hunt for the author, the mysteries. Loved it. That's exactly the vibe I loved about Gravity Falls, and it hits every note it needs to hit. I know some people kind of don't like it. I guess I heard recently because it doesn't have as many, you know, funny jokes or different locations or whatever. But I love that new idea of just putting the characters into one location and having them explore that, because that didn't really happen in Gravity Falls before. There was like a lot of walking around, a lot of exploring the bigger picture, and yeah, so that was my favorite. And but once Not What He Seems was released, obviously they wanted to take this top spot. It's the best episode of Gravity Falls. It's
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
It's tension. It's amazing. It's like all the character build up, all the mystery build up. It's all leading up to that, and of course that ending. Because I mean, it's indescribable now because it's already everybody knows about Ford, right? He's not that big twist character anymore, but back then that was like the hugest thing ever because like the twin theory was around before, and of course once McGucket was out of the picture as potential author candidate, I kind of figured, all right, then it has to be Ford, Stan's brother. So once that scene hit, I freaked out. That was awesome. Like that was my theory on screen being confirmed after an amazing episode of build up, and there's really no flaw with that episode that I can ever bring to it. I think it's awesome. I love it. That's my number 1.
Two more questions and that'll
Yes.
be it.
Sorry, that took a bit.
No, no, it's fine. Do you think Bill is alive or dead, according to the Book of Bill? I don't know if you read it, but
Yeah, at this point I had the opportunity to read it. Unfortunately, I read it like 4 weeks after it released because I had it shipped to a friend in America because I couldn't order it to Germany, which is unfortunate because all the discussion already happened once I got my hands on it. So this website.com was completely scouted out, so every mystery was found already. All the discussions, all the ARG stuff that was already completed. So I was a little late to the party. But yeah, looking at Book of Bill, I think it's very clear that a version of Bill is still around, right? He's not alive in the sense that he's gonna interact with the characters of Gravity Falls anymore. He's not around as like a potential villain at the moment, but very much feels like, yeah, we're putting Bill to the side. He's there. We can do stuff with him. We want to do stuff with him, but this is just to give some sort of conclusion in case there's ever anything that could happen with him, because removing Bill's cipher from Gravity Falls, that's something that you can't do at this point. He's like one of the most iconic characters of the entire show, and
yeah.
I don't think Alex wants to get rid of him either. So I think it's just kind of put on a shelf at the moment to kind of see if there's something to be done with him later.
Before we end, I just want to ask this. This is the question that's been asked as of lately because we're in the era of like revivals and reboots and sequels. But a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, he said a Barnes and Noble for like the Book of Bill, something about if he get the opportunity to do more, but he couldn't talk about it. Do you think because of his Netflix deal, probably not really going anywhere right now? Do you think he's secretly working on more Gravity Falls, or do you think he's probably just gonna work on more books? Like from your opinion, as like a fan, obviously.
Yeah. Of course, I haven't heard the exact comment that he made, so I can't really speak to that. But I mean, I guess I wouldn't really consider a new book something different from more Gravity Falls because Book of Bill is very much an Alex Hirsch work. So
Yeah,
it really is in line with everything the show kind of creates and leads up to. Um, Something in my feeling tells me no, he isn't working on anything right now, but and there's certainly not going to be a Gravity Falls season 3. But what I do think is going to happen, and really think that is likely, probably maybe not for the next 5 years or so, but I think that's something that's going to happen, is like a mini series about Stan and Ford's adventures. That's something he specifically mentioned like a couple of times, and if something's going to happen, I think he's going to do like a limited series aimed at probably a bit of older audiences that would focus on those characters, which would probably contain some cameos of other Gravity Falls characters. That's my headcanon anyway. So yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen at some point, but probably not right at the moment. It just doesn't feel like the time. I don't know. It just feels like Book of Bill is a
yeah.
side project that kind of might inspire some sort of spark in him to keep going back to that universe, because it does feel like a book that he had fun writing. And well, I keep saying he, but there's obviously other members of the crew involved, and I think everybody there still loves Gravity Falls, and I think it's inevitable that there's something gonna come back. But Gravity Falls season 3, I don't think that's a likely thing. Still not at this
Honestly,
point.
I think either a prequel would happen,
Mm,
prequel, a show about the brothers, obviously, or some sort of project about Ford in the Nightmare Realm, I think is what it was called, or that was a
right.
nickname it was given.
Yes.
Um, I think something like that would happen, where it's for like mature audiences. Like I don't think a new
Yes.
project would be anywhere rated for like kids or whatever the original show was rated. I think it'd be something for
Totally.
older audiences. Um,
I think that is super likely. I mean, even in Book of Bill, there are some hints at like side characters living in the multiverse that were introduced in Journal 3, with connections to Ford that were kind of kept mysterious. And I really think, because Alex did tease about other parts of, the Gravity Falls mythos that he has in the back of his mind and just never addressed, I think that is a section that he's probably want to, keep going back to and keep exploring because there is some potential there for more storylines and more cool ideas to be developed. Yeah, but I agree with you. I think that is a likely idea that could be developed.
This is a question I didn't ask earlier. Besides YouTube, are you wanting to be like outside of like animation? What are you wanting to be in like the industry as like a whole, creatively?
That's a good question. At this point, it's a bit hard for me to, um, I guess, narrow it down because there's so much I am very interested in pursuing. Um, while I really want to get into directing, still kind of want to do that. But what I'm studying at the film school is producing. So I guess working as a showrunner was always sort of like after seeing how Gravity Falls happened and how a show can be put together with a coherent vision by one creator, that was always kind of a dream of me. So I guess I want to pursue that, but there's also like the side of I want to do some acting. I mean, probably it's not going to be easy to do that internationally, but like that's always been like also another side hobby of mine. And I also went to acting school for a year before I realized that as a main career that's a bit tough. So I guess my answer is I don't have a specific answer at the moment. I just kind of want to follow the projects that are developing, that my heart is burning for, and just see where it leads. Just keep pursuing like the different artistic ideas that show up, and being able to work with friends and other collaborators is just a nice feeling. So in the end, it doesn't really matter to me what the specific job title is, as long as I can keep pursuing creative endeavors, and hopefully find some success with them. Yeah, that's my answer at the moment. That could change like next year already, or in a month or whatever. But yeah.
To wrap things up, you want to plug anything like your socials?
Yeah, you can, like I said, the webcomic that I mentioned, Terry Adventures, that's a fun thing you can follow. I have a Twitter account. I think I'm still called Mystery Seeker there. Sorry, it's X now. Nah, I'm gonna refuse to call it X. It's Twitter. It's just at Mystery Seeker underscore. There used to be my Instagram name. Now it's Leon dot Thieme. I figured that my if I do say it in German, it's not gonna make a lot of sense. And of course, my YouTube channel, right, Mystery Seeker, that you can always subscribe to. I appreciate every follow and every website. And yeah, in that case, I also advise you to keep a lookout for Terra Force Robot Rebels, because I think there's gonna be some stuff that's gonna be happening there soon, and it's probably gonna land on my YouTube channel. But I can't announce anything specific right now.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning, day, overnight. I don't know what time it is there, but
Evening. But
oh,
thank you. Thank you for having me.
um, yeah, no problem. Anyway, thank you for coming on the show. I mean, that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy it worked out, and I'm very excited to see the video when it releases. I'm assuming it's going to be a video and not like a podcast or whatever.
Um, there'll be a video and it'll be released on my podcast account. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, then send it over once it's done, and I'll share it. Awesome. Well, it's been fun. Thank you for getting me back into the Gravity Falls spirit. It was really nice getting to talk about some of my favorite episodes again. So that was a cool thing. Yeah.
Take care, man.
You too.
All right, guys. That has been it for me. Thank you so much for watching this episode. This has been That Discord Talk Show, and I'll see you guys next time.